I think you might be getting a confession from someone who's been ignoring you for quite some time. The overall energy for this reading is the Knight of Cups and the Two of Pentacles reversed. So the Knight of Cups indicates an incoming message, and particularly a message that's emotional in nature. It can be a love offer. It can be a really poignant apology. But this person's coming in, and they're coming in for communication very, very soon when we see Knight of Cups, because they're delivering the message actively to you. Now, you want to note, though, this is coming from a place of imbalance when we see the Two of Pentacles reversed. This is coming from a place of just feeling like really off, right? This person might have been having some money issues from some of these other cards in the spread here. Or they're just having some real issues, like maybe psychologically, like mental health wise. But there's something very imbalanced about this, and that's why this person's kind of rushing in. Knight of Cups can also be kind of a love bomber type energy, okay? So this person is going to come kind of rushing at you. And I think they've been ignoring you for quite some time. Because in the recent past, we have the Nine of Swords reversed, the Four of Pentacles, and the Moon. So I think this person liked to play some games and kind of keep you guessing, okay? Nine of Swords is the energy of being like up in the middle of the night, worried, concerned, really like overthinking things. It's like you can't sleep, right? Or you get woken up in the middle of sleep because you're so like overwhelmed by feelings about them or concerns about like what happened between the two of you. Well, in the reverse, we're getting over that, okay? So that I think that's further in the past. This person kind of made you feel super, super anxious, like that, like waking up at 2 a.m. level anxious. And they've just been keeping to themselves. When we see Four of Pentacles is kind of the energy of the miser, okay? This is someone just hanging on to their own resources real tightly. They're hanging on to their own energy, to their own money, to their own stuff. And they're not really sharing. They're not divulging what's going on. And so I think this is them kind of ignoring you, kind of just not paying any attention to you. And I don't think you've heard from this person in quite some time as a result. And it's because of the Moon, okay? It's because there is something that they don't want you to know, something that they kept hidden from you, that I'm not even sure that you would guess if you had to, okay? But they really didn't want you to know this aspect about themselves because they're ashamed of it. And it's sort of interesting what they actually want to confess to you here, okay? So, because in the present, we've got sort of a mixture of energies. So let's take a look at it. So I think what they don't want to admit here is the intensity of this connection. When we see the Lovers, we are dealing with a connection that has been divinely orchestrated. This has been brought in for you. You really cannot deny the passion when we see the fire over here, and the temptation when we see the apples in the tree from the Garden of Eden here. You can't deny it when you run into one of these connections. And this person has really not, they were doing everything possible to try to make this something else, okay? This intensity of these feelings that they have for you, this really strong soul tie, they were trying to convert it into something else. They were trying to make it be something that it's just not. And I think this person really, what you don't know is just how strongly they felt about you and how much they were fighting against that. They were trying to change it into something different. Temperance is a card of alchemy. And I think they tried this actually for quite some time. But I'm feeling very drawn to this path here. I think now they're wanting to go down a new path. Okay. And I think honestly, they might have walked away from this situation because they just weren't willing to really do the work that this intensity of a connection really required. This person might be an Aries or Sagittarius, I'm feeling, or Gemini. But there's someone who just doesn't feel like driven to do the work that's necessary to maintain some kind of relationship like this, like a true partnership like this. And they were trying to make it into something else. Maybe they were trying to make it more into a friendship, or they were trying to make it more into I don't know, maybe just purely a working relationship. They were trying to do something else with this relationship, but I feel like it didn't work out, right? It just didn't work. And now they're looking for a new path, a new road to take, particularly when it comes to you and this connection. Because it's really getting to them. I think they've been ignoring you and you've just been like, whatever. Five of Pentacles is the energy of feeling left out in the cold, right? We've got these two figures outside a church, and they could absolutely go in and ask for help if they wanted it, but they're not going to, okay? They're just going to stay left outside in the cold. And I think this person, since they've been ignoring you because they didn't want you to know the intensity of what they were feeling for you, and how they were trying to really deny that and change it and adjust it, and they're just and it's not working. I think they were hoping you were going to chase after them, okay? And then that didn't happen, and now they're just I've been abandoned. They're just throwing a pity party, okay? I think coming up into the upcoming future, that's just going to be where they are. They're just kind of feeling sorry for themselves. But I think actually this person is going to start realizing that, I'm kind of an idiot. I actually had all the tools at my disposal to make this thing happen, but I was too busy being all hidden and keeping to myself and being kind of wishy-washy and not really wanting to commit to a thing that I know I felt. And they're trying to manifest this coming back. They're trying to manifest, what you guys once had, this connection that was so intense between the two of you. They want it back, and they know that they have everything at their disposal that they need to try to do that. This person might actually be a Gemini. Again, we've got Gemini again, or Gemini might be prominent in their chart, but we also have Pisces or Cancer with the moon. But more than that, this is someone who I feel like is interested in esoterics a little bit. They might have an interest in astrology or tarot or just anything in that kind of realm. And they're trying everything they can to kind of make this come back, right? Because at this point in time, they weren't willing to work on this before, but now they actually do want to collaborate with you. They want to work with you and with this relationship rather than against you and against the intensity of this connection. Three of Pentacles is all about building a strong foundation, okay? It is all about really collaborating with someone else, really building something solid together. But let's get some advice on this, okay? So Spirit is kind of nudging you towards letting the past be in the past, okay? When we see the Six of Swords, this is all about finding calmer waters. So for our advice, the first card in this is, do what you have to do to maintain your peace. I come from immigrants, so I always think of the Six of Swords as the immigrant card. You have a home country that means a whole lot to you. It's an intense connection, right? But ultimately, there's something about that home country that just doesn't sit right. You can't make things work there. And you have to move on to something bigger and better to survive, to do well, to thrive, really, okay? So Spirit's advising you, don't be afraid to move elsewhere if this feels unworkable. Again, in the advice, we're getting King of Wands. And I was picking up a masculine fire sign energy before, and that's Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So really, this person might be an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But I feel like this is don't be afraid to walk away from that Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. If you need to do something different for your own peace, for your own harmony, it's okay. And it's okay to step into your own King of Wands energy. The King of Wands is a spiritual father, right? He's very connected to divine source, to source energy, and he knows what he wants and he goes after what he wants. Ultimately, Spirit really wants you to operate from a place of emotional independence, right? Where nothing that this person does or says really bothers you at this point. You're good in your own energy, and to manifest and to call into fruition anything from that kind of emotional independence.